The murder of this California cop, Officer Singh, now reigniting a hot debate over the state's sanctuary laws.
This is a criminal illegal alien with prior criminal activity that should have been reported to ICE. We were prohibited, law enforcement was prohibited because of sanctuary laws, and that led to the encounter with Officer Singh.
The accused cop killer had 2 prior DUIs and alleged gang ties, but under California law, SB54, local authorities are banned from reporting this information to ICE. So why would the state support a policy like this? Ethan Behrman is a liberal radio talk show host based in California. He joins us now live to weigh in. Ethan, good to have you.
Thanks, Ed, and what a horrible story it is. I mean, nobody wants to see the murder of one of our officers, especially by somebody who's a violent, in this case now an alleged violent criminal. It's absolutely a tragic and horrific story. I feel horrible for the Newman Police Department, Stanislaus County, the family of Officer Singh. All of us in California feel absolutely horrible about all of it. And I know you want to get to the SB54 law, so let's get there.
Yeah, well, let me first quickly answer. You say everyone in California feels the way you do. I appreciate that you just started out by saying, hang on, we've got to recognize there was a tragedy here before we talk about the politics. You're absolutely right. But what about Senator Dianne Feinstein, your senior Democratic senator from California? I've been looking at Twitter for a few days. She's got a couple tweets out there about a boy who died in U.S. custody, a migrant boy. That is a tragedy as well, yes. Hats off to her for for mentioning that, and she wants hearings into that. I haven't seen a tweet in days from Dianne Feinstein or other major Democrats in your home state that you say they all care about it, saying, let's have hearings about why this officer was killed. Let's have hearings about why this state law opened the door to a cop being killed.
Well, a United States Senator is not the person in charge of the California State Assembly or State Senate. Or we have an incoming governor-elect now, Gavin Newsom.
She might not be in charge of the Border Patrol either, by the way, but she wants hearings on the boy who died in U.S. custody.
Well, but she's in charge of a committee that can, or at least is part of the leadership that has that oversight. So California, she doesn't. Now, the state assembly, the state senate, absolutely, we can look at SB54 and fine-tune it. This was a very horrific example on the edges of SB54. Remember, in California, under Section 3G of SB54, if he had been convicted of a felony DUI, which takes 3 priors or an injury or death, he would have been reported to ICE. So there are rules around SB54. SB54 is not a free pass for violent criminals. And by the way, even the immigrants who are here without documentation, they don't want violent criminals here either. They want to be safe from the gang members who are here.
Well, if they want to be safe, then why is there almost a technicality, Ethan, which is that, well, if you reach 3 DUIs, then all of a sudden you can report it to ICE or someone else. You heard the sheriff. Don't answer me, but answer the sheriff who knows better than you and I. I don't know what his political affiliation is, but the sheriff who's there on the ground said, you know what, because of these despite these 2 DUIs, we could not report him to ICE anyway, despite what you just said. And 2, the sheriff directly said the officer would still be alive but for the state law. How do you answer that?
Well, first off, he doesn't know that because officers have been killed by people without proper documentation before SB54. So that's not because of SB54. To directly tie that is I believe, a little bit unbelievable. This sheriff also, if I recall correctly, was against SB54 in the beginning, so he had a bias against it in the first place. But let's get to the point here. None of us want law enforcement to be murdered in the line of duty. None of us want violent gang-affiliated criminals in our state to begin with. But here's the key. This alleged murderer was not convicted of anything related to gang crimes. He wasn't convicted on those. DUIs, 220,000 people a year are arrested for DUIs in California. So if we tighten that up and make it a felony after 2, a whole lot of other people are in prison now.
Something's got to be fixed. Ethan Behrman, we appreciate you coming in, debating it, talking about it. As you said, better than anyone, cops should not be killed. That's the key in this case anyway. Appreciate you coming in and saying that. Coming up.
Thanks, Ed.
Speaking of that.